Good day, we are from Group C and we will be presenting about the case study of Board of Tender Dilemma, Challenge, Success and Accountability. So I am Joshua Ng Sui Wei, metric number 261-774. This case is about Mr. Abu, who was a member of Tender Board, faced dilemma during the procurement process. Mr. Abu is a government officer that in charge of tender bidding before the tendering process. Dato Zainal, who was the president of ABBA Municipal Council, stressed that the procurement process must be free from corruption, which was being hit by Mr. Abu from the start. However, he is a very kind-hearted person, which mostly nice to person he met, such as subordinate and tender buyer. He faced a lot of challenge. High desire to sustain his family lavish lifestyle become one of the characteristics that put him into dilemma. Although he wanted to achieve the KPI set up by the top management, however, his greediness had made him choose the easier way. He did not reject any bribery from Mr. Chow, and this action had become a habit for him. He couldn't hit his KPI and affect the audit finding of the council. However, this bribery action was never known to public as there were no evidence to be proven. So that's all from my presentation. I will pass to my other team. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Kirutiga and my metric number is 267641, and today I want to talk about the rules and regulations under the case Board of Tender Dilemma. This section 17A, Malaysia Anti-Corruption 2009, is regarding a government agency, and the corruption they made and the effect were made for the person. Under the sections, Mr. Abu has acted to the corruption where he has accepted gift from Mr. Cho, stuffs like BMW Superbike, iPhone 12 and iPad Pro from the contractor Mr. Cho to show his favoritism to get the tender around 15 units of compactors, which having the net worth 3 million ringgit, has a Malaysian government asset. So these issues was defined under the section 17A, Malaysian Anti-Corruption 2019. And this is the first rules and regulation from the case. Thank you.
So, moving on to the next rule and regulation, which is Treasury Instructions. Before that, my name is Muhammad Muzaffar Muhammad Nazli, and my metric number is 267813. So, under this rule and regulation, there will be two parts, which is the first one is PK 7.7 regarding vehicles procurement, and the second one PK 8 regarding non-compliance with government procurement. So, under the first part, it is stated that the controlling officer or head of department is fully responsible for conducting market research for each type of vehicle by planning and ensuring that the procurement of the vehicle is done prudently. So, referring to the case, Mr. Abu, who is the person in charge, disobeyed the Treasury instruction by failing to follow the government's procurement procedure when selecting tender contractor. Mr. Abu has assisted Mr. Chow's company in receiving a tender to provide 15 compactors. For the second part, which is non-compliance with government procurement, it is stated that failed to meet specifications, goods or services supplied, or the company does not meet the specification as stated in the contract. Referring to the case, it is stated that Mr. Abu has failed to fulfill the contract specification because he was exhorted from reviewing all of the tender documents. In the contract, he is required to ensure that all documents are full and accurate. So that's all my part. Thank you.
Good day everyone. My name is Tan Pei Yin, matrix number 264641. I will continue with a fraud triangle, which include the component of pressure, opportunity, and rationalization. For the component of pressure, Mr. Abu was under two types of pressure. The first one is the financial pressure. Mr. Abu was the only breadwinner for his family after his wife lost her job. Next, Mr. Abu was too greedy to live a lavish lifestyle, and he even took some loan from the unauthorized lender. And next, he has a high level of debt due to the shark loan and also his illness. The second pressure is the work-related pressure. Mr. Abu was pressured to work for value for money activities and to achieve their KPIs set by the management. For the component of opportunity, the evaluation of tenders is usually done by two persons, but in this case, the tenders was only evaluated by Mr. Abu, one person only. Next, there is no segregation of duties. The evaluation of tenders and the selection of successful bidder was done by Mr. Abu alone. The last component is rationalization. Mr. Abu believed that there is no one that knew about the situation and there was no evidence. These three components of the fraud triangle has motivated Mr. Abu to commit corruption.
So I'm gonna continue with suggestion of fraud prevention mechanism that can be applied by public sector, especially Aba Municipal Council. First and foremost, they need to assess internal control. To mitigate the risk of fraud in procurement process, existing control, threshold and procedure should be regularly reviewed and assessed for relevance and effectiveness. Second mechanism is the need to actively monitor internal control. By having reviewed and enhanced internal control actively, as business process develop, so to should the system that control them. Third is e-procurement, which is the use of information and communication technologies in public procurement. It can increase transparency, facilitate access to public tender, and allow for easier detection of corruption. Okay. For the fourth mechanism, by doing procurement fraud training to employees. So employees should be trained in procurement process and procedure as well as fraud risk and ethics that I believe is crucial step to detecting, investigating and prosecuting fraudsters. Lastly, comprehensive whistleblower policy and protection of whistleblowers. So there is a need to consolidate, clarify and make readily available basic information on whistleblowers, policies to staff and also the third parties. But apart from that, we also need to protect the whistleblower from discriminatory. Organizations should establish measures to safeguard the confidentiality of whistleblower and should strengthen existing policies to make them more effective. So at the end of the day, prevention is always better than cure. The amount paid to settle any claim resulting from exposed fraud will always be secondary to the loss of reputation and integrity that organization may suffer for being associated with such claim. Thank you.